welcome back to the allotment. Today we're going to be doing the potato reveal for the ultimate potato experiment. Okay, so those seed potatoes were put in on or around the 13th of March, St. Patrick's Day. And since then it's been incredibly dry here in the south, so I'm not expecting great yields. The Sarpomera, they're very blight resistant to late blight. I think they did catch a little bit of the early blight. And the Blue Danube, Sarpo Blue Danube, they grew really well, but then we've had exceptionally hot and dry weather, and on the hottest day of the year, when it reached like 40 degrees centigrade, 110 Fahrenheit, something like that, the plants pretty much gave up the ghost. Some of the Sarpomera recovered from their blight, but they haven't been great. So we're just going to have to see what we get, and hopefully the point of the whole experiment is to see if the different fertiliser and growing mediums made any difference whatsoever. So these are our experimental pots. First things first, we're going to have to clear away this nasturtium, which looks very pretty. It's grown over some of our pots. Smells really strong. They do become a bit of a weed, nasturtiums, if you grow them amongst your vegetables. Okay, so here we are. The sun's come around a little bit. Hopefully it won't get too hot for me. Just to reiterate what we've got here. We've got, along that row, we've got homemade compost. Along this row, we've got shop-bought compost. And this is just like the household waste that's been recycled. So that should have some nutrients in it, hopefully. I've put these pot bottles in, slightly mute point now. I'll put these bottles in the middle to try and make sure I can keep the middle of the pot damp, because it does dry out very easily. Of course, a bit of a mute point because we've had the longest dry spell in sort of recorded history almost, some very high temperatures. So the front two are just the compost, no nutrient added at all. These two are with a big handful of sulphate of potash, which is 50% potash, which should help lay down starch, water management in the plant, everything else. The back two are 20-10-10, 20% nitrogen, 10% phosphorus and 10% potassium. We'll see how they go. So we'll crack on and start tipping them out, and we'll talk about how the plants did in the year as well. Okay, so this is the first one. Ignore this plant at the front here, it's just a volunteer from last year. This is very difficult to get out of the ground. This is just homemade compost with no nutrients as a control. Okay, so apart from a lot of biting red ants, we also have not a great deal by the look of it. Oh well, there we go. Look. There are some potatoes. Let's get a bag out and we'll pop them in. And we'll weigh them. These ones are obviously the Blue Danube. Okay, aren't they? Just for roast potatoes or something? Not millions of them, but more than I was expecting. Actually, that may have been a Blue Danube plant. So that's about the lot for that one. So that was just homemade compost with no added nutrients whatsoever. I think that's about our lot. Get rid of these bits. We'll turn the rest of the soil back into the ground. So let's weigh that and see how much it is. It's not a lot, I don't think. Where's the scales gone? Ugh. No, it's not an awful lot. What's that say? Barely 2 pounds, I think. Not even 2 pounds. Rather disappointing. Okay, so the first pot was fairly disappointing, just about 1.5 pounds really. We'll see what's in the shop bought compost with no added nutrients. We'll see how dry it is. Potatoes on the side here. Yeah. Top bottle out. Bag. I was saying Sarpo before, but it's obviously Sarpo Mira and Sarpo Blue Danube. Again, the Danubes have done okay. Ish. So the Sarpo Mira got some early blight or something. They're very good with late blight. They are susceptible to other diseases. These blue Danubes made lovely plants, very pretty purple flowers on. So you get bits of compostable plastic bag in this soil. I'm sorry about the interruption to the program, but the camera overheated in the sun, so I'll have to do the rest of it in the when it's still shady here at the back. So these were the potatoes from just plain shop bought compost. I'm afraid we barely got 1 pound of potatoes. Sarpo Mira don't seem to be doing very well at all, unusually. The Sarpo Blue Danube are doing okay, but still this is only barely over 1 pound of potatoes, which is a terrible result. Hopefully the rest of the things with the rest of the pots with nutrients in will do slightly better. Don't hold your breath. Anyway, there we go. So far, homemade compost is doing better than shop bought compost, which is good to know. Save ourselves some money next year. Okay, so this guy is shop bought compost with a handful of sulphate of potash. So we get on. Don't be misled by thinking that Sarpomera is somehow a bad potato. It's a really excellent potato. It's just it hasn't really done very well compared to these Blue Danube this year. It's just one of those things. Okay, that's about it for that. About a pound. So this one is homemade compost with a handful of sulphate of potash. The plants actually still look quite healthy here. We're going to harvest it anyway. Maybe if we leave it in the ground a bit longer, more potatoes will form. Let's find out though how much we've got. A few lumps in the side of this pot, so slightly more hopeful. See, like that. I'm not sure I'll do this again with the bottle. It takes up too much space, I think. At least it didn't make the potatoes go green, which is one of the things I feared. A few more potatoes in here, slightly better size. Maybe homegrown compost is the way forward. Something better. Certainly the Sarpomera has done better. Now that's what happens if you get irregular watering on potatoes. You get these little, when it gets more water, it sends out another little lump of potato. It's got a little man-shaped one there. Woman, of course. Wouldn't be sexist, do we? Be a woman-shaped one. Ugh. Just I'm a man, so I tend to selfishly think about myself. Worm in there. Yeah, so that Sarpomera would have carried on growing with it. Oh, come on. Danube plant. That's about it. Let's weigh them up. A few more there, I can feel that. It's heavier. Not great, but heavier. Nearly 2 pounds. Yeah, nearly 2 pounds there. Not too bad. Just get the none hiding in here. Covered in ants. Not great. You'll have noticed I've moved again because despite making what seems to be 2 years on the trot very disappointing potato reveal videos, I'm not actually a masochist. I don't like kneading in ants, so I've moved over here and hopefully there aren't any here. 2 pots left. This is the high nitrogen, so 20-10-10 granular fertiliser. We've got the homemade compost, shop bought compost. We'll crack on and see if we've got more than a couple of pounds of potatoes. Let's go for the shop bought compost first. See what we get. Decent Sarpomera there. more actually on here. I'll look at it. Famous last words. I'll bring you a bit closer to have a look. On the face of it, it looks slightly more promising. Again, they're not huge. You don't expect huge ones from the Blue Danube, really. But the Sarpo normally do a lot better. Seems to be a fair few potatoes here anyway. Certainly enough for me to eat. Remnants of the seed potato. So there's a few on there that could have grown bigger. We'll weigh those anyway, just to get a couple of grams. Oh. See how dry this is. Okay, so that was the Blue Danube one. I think that's pretty much all of those. More, a couple little ones. Yeah, I don't think the bottle in the middle is the worst idea, but it does take up a bit of space. So maybe I won't bother again. This is the Sarpo Mira. Blue Danube made its way around that side. Yeah, they haven't done great there. Big enough. It's not bad. It's the whole 6 pots was, well, no, goodness me, no, I've done 8, 9, 10, about 14 pots out of 1 kilo of seed potatoes. So I suppose I have to do some conversions. You know, I like to mix my metric and imperial. That's what 500 grams is about a pound, I think. No, it's 2 pounds. I think. I'm waffling now. Work it out in the end. So this is what you get. You get this so-called compostable bags, bits of plastic in this. Find a bin for that. Right, so that's about that for shop bought compost. I'll weigh them up. Oh, that's not that much. Probably barely a pound as well. Yeah, no, that's barely a pound in reality. Put my glass on just to check. Yeah, about a pound. Last but hopefully not least, homemade compost with the 2010 fertiliser. There's something at least. Plastic in my compost, which isn't great. Oh, that's off the wheelbarrow. Paint off the wheelbarrow. Take that away as well. Okay. Let's get these bagged up. Get rid of this bottle. Is that it, really? It's going to be a fairly unconclusive result, I think, for this experiment. But you've got to keep trying, haven't you? Okay, well, not a great many left, is there? I think it's fair to say probable winner, the best looking potatoes, is the homemade compost with a sulphate of potash. This might be a close second. Homemade compost has won out over that shop bought stuff there. In here, oh, this is just from the bottom. Hiding, trying to escape here. No. No, that's it. Right. Again, about a pound. Awful. Right, let's go and see back in the sunshine what they all look like. Well, guys and girls, what can I say? Fairly disappointing harvest. So I wasn't expecting a big yield just because of the weather, really. I don't think anybody in the allotment this year on these allotments has had a great yield of potatoes. That's not just an excuse. Anyway, if there was a winner, I would say it was the sulphate of potash. Just the size of, the homemade compost ones in particular. The size, shape, the weight, the yield weight is not too bad at all compared to the rest. So I would say homemade compost with a big handful of sulphate of potash. It's not too bad, if that is any sort of conclusion. I think all we can do is do it again, and I think next year I'll do a slightly different experiment, because at home I have a Sarpo mirror that I found at the back of the dining room. I completely forgot to bring them here, and I planted them in June, and the plants are still really healthy, not a sign of any disease whatsoever, and looking much better than these plants here did. So I might do that next year. I might do an early planting in March and a late planting in June, see how things get on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and join the My Allotment Facebook group, and hopefully that leaf isn't blowing too much in front of the lens. Speak to you later.